motivator, and your spiritual evolution coming in on this terrific Tuesday. Awesome opportunity for us to just be in the moment. When you just think of the moment, you get in the grateful mode of knowing that you're present, that you're here, that you have another opportunity to create in this space, to manifest in this space, to live the greatest version of your authentic self. Know that you are one of a kind, and nobody, I mean nobody, can compare to your greatness. There's no one else in this entire world that is greater than you because there's no competition. You're your greatest competition. So, as we enter into this terrific Tuesday, I want to get right into what we're going to talk about because this is the season, this is the reason, this is the time, this is the moment that you must understand that it's a mind thing. Yes, it is a mind thing. Everything that we do is a mind thing. Your will is a mind thing. Your choice is a mind thing. Your ability is a mind thing. You can if you think you can. We must establish, though, that the brain and the mind are not the same. The brain is the foundation of the mind that expresses the thoughts in your imagination. The mind is an artist that paints a picture in your visions, in your visuals, and how you see things from the inside out, not the outside in. It's your insight, not your eyesight. And so as you begin to be conscious that this is a mind thing, we serve God with our mind. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. As as you think in your heart, so shall it be. And so all of that encompasses the mind. The mind is an incubator for your thoughts. It's a processor. It's a manifester. It is all those things that we must be aware and awakened and enlightened to. That this is the awesome place for you to begin to create. We walk and we talk and we operate in the imagination of God. Can you imagine the mind of God if you could in a physical way? How broad, how vast, how great, how divinely powerful it is? When you recognize that your mental equation is so important for you to take this journey that you're on. God has provided you with all the tools that you will need to utilize on this journey. See, we have been forced to forget that we forgot who we were. And now that you're awakening, now that you're knowing, now that you're being enlightened, now that you're being conscious, and you go straight to your mind, there are some things that you must do in that place, in that space. Because in the meditation, you begin to operate out of your mind and you begin to see things before words are ever attached to anything in your mind. There's a picture that's painted, and then you are given the authority to name it. Remember when he told Adam, to name all the animals? How did everything receive a name? And some of the names that we have applied to our lives, we're going to have to redo and become a light language because some of our language is darkness and it doesn't bring light to our lives or to our mind, to our conversation. And so as we begin to operate in a system, a mind system, a mental equation, an operation, a motivation, information, we begin to create our lives and we stop allowing others to create it for us. So as we go through this day, make a mental note that this is a mind thing and I can create my day. I don't have to allow my day to create me because I am awesome. As your mantra today, you should say, I am awesome in every way. No matter how this day turns out, I'm going to be all right because I'm creating this day. I'm blowing breath into this life. I'm causing this thing to be that God has already called to be. I'm just riding out the experience. And I know the beginning and I know the ending because there is no ending. This is eternity in a continuous motion going forth. The sting of death has been taken out. So it must be an extended life in a different dimension. When you recognize you are three-dimensional, that you operate in so many areas. When you recognize that you have not just five senses, that's on the outside. That's the grace that brings you through, but you have 360, at least 360 senses on the inside. 360 is the turnaround. So as you begin to turn your life around, as you begin to recognize, oh, this is just a mind thing. How I perceive it and how I receive it is a choice that I'm making in my mind. So many times we have allowed people to put things in our minds and we store it. But today I want to stimulate, or I will to stimulate the things that God has placed in your memory. I keep saying it over and over. We're not here to learn. We're here to remember everything that God has purposed us to be. We're not alone. We're becoming all one. Sometimes you feel alone, but when you're feeling alone, you're becoming all one. You're operating in the marriage of your multidimensional self, your flesh, your spirit, your soul. Three dimensions, one package. And as you get your mind together, see, this whole virus was a mind thing. And what do I mean by that? Because I was diagnosed with it. But I recognized when I was in the hospital, it was a mind thing because I was separated from family. I was separated from everything and everybody that I love. And so that began to weigh on my mind. But as I began to speak to my inner self and recognize that this was an opportunity to get my mind together because it was a mind thing. I could have gave up because that was a mind thing. I could have gave in to the diagnosis, but I made a choice in my mind not to give up, not to give in, not to allow this thing to overcome me. And so as you begin to do that, there's a second round because our minds have not been focused. Our mind has not been we have not been paying attention in our mind to what's going on, what's really going on. So when you sit down in the meditation sits down in you and begins to medicate you. As God says, I will show you trouble way off, but he's not going to show it to you with these. He's going to show it on the inner eye, in the mind. He's going to begin to speak to you because your heart has a mind and your head has a mind. But if we go heart first, and out of our heart flow the issues of life, and this is the voice that God allows us to speak in, we're operating in the greatest version of ourselves. So, in today's Michelleology Involution Meditation, I want you to recognize that this is a mind thing. As a man thinketh in his heart, or as mankind thinketh in his heart, so shall it be. And so, whatever you face today, good, bad, or ugly, and different, how you perceive it in your mind will be how you achieve the solution for it in your day. Man, this is good in the neighborhood. If all of us become one mind, which is the spiritual mind, we begin to see, which is the inner eye, the things to be. Things are just not happening. Everything has already been established. He is the author and the finisher of our faith. He's not finishing it as he goes along. It is already finished. It is telestai. It is finished. And so when we go into our spiritual minds and God begins to show us that it's finished. And a lot of times there's a different definition for finish. It can mean ending. It can mean shining. It can mean giving it a glow. It can be renewing. But remember, if something dies, there's always something on the other side that's birthing. So don't give in, don't get depressed, don't get anxiety. Draw a mental picture that if something is dying, something is being born. Don't get frustrated, don't get stressed, don't go into trauma and drama, but recognize it's a mind thing. How you choose to perceive it, how you choose to use it, how you choose to walk it. There was a song that says, walk it out. Yes, walk out this life knowing that your mind is a mental equation of your life. The adding, the subtracting, the multiplying, the dividing. But it is God's mathematics. It is not the world mathematics. So how we encounter how vast our mind is, how big it is, how powerful it is, how anointed it is, how full of life it is. Your mental health is important because without it, you can't be that great, powerful entity in this atmosphere that God has set you in this place and in this space for such a time as this. This is not a time to give up. This is a time to get up. And as he begins to shine the light has come. He is the light of the world. As the disciples had a conversation with Jesus as he had risen, the resurrection is when the light had come. And they did not recognize him in that form because their perception and their mind was still seeing him in a physical form, which is the same way that we're seeing him. But he's so much greater than a physical form. He's the light of the world. And as you begin to see, like the disciples saw, I know you thought it was 12 men, but like Reverend Ike said, it's 12 dimensions of your mind. Your mind goes through transformation across, through, and beyond. And it is the opportune moment for you to recognize it's a mind thing. I know you thought it was a black-white thing. It's a mind thing. I know you thought it was a religious thing. It's a mind thing. I know you thought it was a COVID-19, Delta, whatever it is. It's a mind thing. Perceive yourself in the greatest version of yourself, walking in the good of God. Woo! That's good in the neighborhood. When you begin to receive, when you begin to perceive, and when you begin to know that this is your opportune moment to go forth, to be all you can be. But if you don't see it from the inside of your mind, your thoughts, then you begin to produce negativity, negative energy. Your mind is one big energy, and you can utilize it for negative or positive. So in today's Michelleology Involution meditation, come on, let's breathe. And say to ourselves, this, whatever this is and whatever it is, it's a mind thing. And I have the capability and the authority to walk in the imagination of my mind and begin to create and manifest the very life that I will for this to be. I'm telling you, God does not want us dependent on him. He wants us independent in him. What? Once you go in, he'll never be without. We are walking in. We're walking inside out, not outside in. And the beauty of the outside will be determined the beauty on the inside. As above, so below as above. As we manifest that in our minds, we won't see ourselves as alone. We'll see ourselves as all one. This is good, man. This is good. Everything outside of you is an illusion. The only thing that's real is the power of your inner being in your mind. How can you serve God if you're not in your mind? Being double-minded, outside, inside, outside, making it one is when you allow yourself to be mindful, to focus, to be enlightened, to pay attention, to visualize, to imagine, to manifest all that's in your mind. Yes, you cannot afford to give anybody a piece of your mind. Most of us are given so many pieces of our minds that we don't have anything left. And that's why we're operating in this illusion that there's something wrong with us. Why would you operate in that? If you're operating in the power of God within, if it wasn't before you got there and God got there, then it becomes, because you blow breath into it, you blow life into it, you blow the manifestation into it. And if you don't see that for your life, you'll continue to walk in this trial and error situation, and you'll make more errors, and you keep trying, and trying sets you up for failure. I know y'all say, I'm trying. No. Trying sets you up for failure. You must be, do, and have. Bring it to the present. Trying takes you either in the future, which is an illusion, or it takes you back to the past where you were trying, and that's an illusion. Come to the now. To be, to do, and to have is your mindset. Remember, 90% mindset, 10%. Only 10% is skill. You are a master you are a mastermind. Woo. God created you as a mastermind. Mind your master and master your mind. Woo. Yes. That was just fresh off the press. Be a master of your mind when you mind your master. Stop operating in slavery and allowing other people to determine what you think, what you have, who you're going to be. All of those things. But master your mind. You're going to master your mind as you mind your master. Yes, and your master lives within you. Not upstairs, not in a faraway place, but right here in your presence. But it's a mind thing. If you don't know a thing, then you can't master a thing. And if you don't mind the master, you can't master your mind. So as we move, I think I'm going to do a series on this mind thing. Why wouldn't I do a series on this mind thing when that has been my stability to going through to and beyond the things that have been set in my way as stumbling blocks, but I chose to make them building blocks. Everything that has come my way that is try to destroy me, that is trying to stop me, that is trying to get me out of the way of my purpose and my destiny, I have built on it. So when I look at how far I've come, then I can briefly look back at the things that tried to kill me, and I'm still here. My blood pressure tried to kill me, and I'm still here. My sugar count of over 900 tried to kill me, but I'm still here. COVID-19 tried to kill me, but I'm still here. Living homeless for 3 years with my kids, but I'm still here. Been out of work for a year, but I'm still in my house. Woo! Had nothing to do with anything outside of me had to do with everything that I mastered in my mind. I had such examples of strong women in my life, especially my mom, who mastered being a single mom with 4. So I know I can master it with being a single mom with 2. I mastered it when the doctor said you never have kids. Everything that's put in front of you as a stumbling block, you can transform it into a building block. You don't have to be what they say you are. So I'm challenging all of you, because the doctor said, well, you're always going to be on insulin. I'm not on insulin now. So I didn't accept the diagnosis because it was a mind thing. And when someone puts a seed out there to plant in your mind, if it's not something that you want to grow, throw it away. If it's not something that's built on your purpose, your mindset, and your skill set of this journey that you're taking, you must know who you are. And that's how you build a mindset. Telling yourself, encouraging yourself, telling yourself, encouraging yourself, getting up when things knock you down. You can't stay down. You've got to get up. You're too powerful to stay down. This is not wrestling. They're not counting you out by the count of 3. The things that try to overcome you, you overcome those things. The things that try to come over you, you come over those things. The things that try to knock you down, duck. Because it's coming back around again. You got to be in sync with what God is saying to you. If he's going to show you trouble off, if the punch is coming, you have time to duck. So here we sit, here we stand, saying to ourselves, it's a mind thing. What are you willing to choose for your life? What are you willing to choose for your next challenge? Yes, challenges are going to come, but it doesn't matter if a challenge comes if you know what the answer is to demolish it and annihilate it. So in today's Michelleology, I want you to breathe in that this is a mind thing. The inhale will give you energy. The exhale will relax you. The breath that you breathe is life that you give to your mindset. Now, I'm going to get ready to close this out, but we have been conditioned to think the way they learned us to think. Who is they? Whoever they are that took you off your godly being path. That's who they are. They may not have a color. They may not have a status, but they are they. And who you allow they to be in your life determines your mindset. Oh yeah. When I was a child, I spoke as that. My abracadabra moment was, I create as I speak, or it is done as I have spoken. See, there's nothing magical about abracadabra, but there is something miraculous about it. Because the power, the anointing, the chi, the prana, the breath is in your language. And your language comes from what your mind is thinking. Check your language and see where your mind is. Because the way you're talking and speaking over your life, you're the prophet of your life. And what you're prophesying over your life is gloom and doom. Then there's something going on the inside of your mind that needs to be corrected. When you recognize and you're conscious and you're enlightened, if you're diagnosed with cancer, devastating, I know. But if you accept the diagnosis, it's even more devastating because you are the authority and your body begins to respond to whatever your mind is thinking. Am I saying ignore the diagnosis? No, I'm saying get a resolution. Change your mind. One mind changes your life 360 degrees in a matter of seconds, in a twinkling of an eye. So when I was a child, I talked negative because I had learned to talk that way. Kids don't come here learning to talk negative. Kids don't come here. When we thought kids were being rebellious and they said no, this just coming out the press. When we thought kids were being rebellious, when they said no, what they were doing is, as a child, they had recognized what God has left them is being in authority. And so we looked at it as disrespectful because a child has no filters. They just say it and they mean it when they say it. So when they said no, they were saying, not being disrespectful to you, they were saying, no, I will not be controlled by outside forces. Because they remembered to say no to being controlled and conditioned. They remember what God told them. So when they say no, we get very upset. But they are saying it in the spiritual mind. No, I will not be controlled. I have authority over this land. I am going to do it. And a lot of times, they remembered once they did it. And so now we're in a space and a place. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. When I became enlightened, conscious, awake, I threw away the childish things. The childish things are not what a child does. It is how a child thinks on this side. So the childish things are the things on the outside of you. It's not talking about a child. It's talking about you being childish, that the things on the outside of you are just illusions and you are reacting to them. Put that away. It's a mind thing. God shall supply your need according to his riches and glory. Why are you saying I need? Those whom God is the shepherd of shall not want. Why are you saying I want? You created with that mindset. I'm not in need of anything at this present moment. I don't have a check coming in. I don't have unemployment coming in. But I have multiple streams of income within me. Oh, come on, y'all. Come on now. I feel this thing. This is real. Rivers of living water is your multiple streams of income. It is not so much currency related. Or money is what you all call it. Money is an energy. We're all energy. Your multiple streams of income will create the energy once you have that frequency of that what you call money. Oh, y'all gonna have to replay that. You have to replay that because that was a defining moment for you to make a decision. This, how I'm feeling right now, whether it's a depression or whatever they call depression or whatever they call anxiety. I call depression bringing your past into your present moment. And you can't bring it back because your brain doesn't remember it like it happened. So what you're bringing into your present moment is a deception because it's not even how it exactly happened because your brain doesn't bring all of those details. When it concerns a physical moment. But when it concerns a spiritual moment and you go to the heart mind is going to replay it exactly like it happened. The head mind has got some confusion in it. So that's why you have to go to the heart mind first, because God is going to replay it like it's supposed to be, not how it was. Yes, I'm trying to end this, but this right here, if you master, no, not if, when you master this mindset and you mind the master, and he's telling you to stay in the house, because as you're staying in the house, this is your house. The moment you come out of the house, you're going to face some things. And if you're not ready from the inside out, you're going to be all these things that they've tagged, these titles. trauma, drama, sickness, doubt, selfishness, resentment. All of those tools are in the atmosphere. 30 minutes is up. I got to get out of here. But all of those tools are represented in the atmosphere, but that's on the atmosphere. That's not in the atmosphere. I know those are not words, but I just created them. It's not on the atmosphere that you should concern yourself, but it is the atmosphere. And it sounds like fear, but it's causing you to be in a faith mode. And as you begin to do that, God will express himself in you, through you, and for you. You're not alone. You're just all one. And when you become all one, everybody's not going to agree with you because your light is too bright. You know, when the light is bright and you start doing like this, that's how they look at you. They're not frowning at you. Your light just so bright. You're a light in the hills of your mind. And you cannot be, you will not be, you must not be hidden. God is rapturing us. And we're going up and up and up from faith to faith and the glory to glory. But it's a mind thing. If you don't see the reverse in your mind, you're going to continue to look for normal. Oh, that's what's stressing you out. Remember, stress is when the demand is greater than the energy to meet the demands. But the God that I know is a supplier, and no supplier is greater than the demands. So the supplier is the energy. The power of God, the light of God, the word of God. That's the energy that keeps you motivated, that keeps you in your place of destiny. Yes, well, this is Michelle. I'm your motivator, your spiritual evolution. Let me tell you something. It's a mind thing. I don't want to belittle that, but this is what I want to say to you. That's all it is, a mind thing. That very negative thing that has you down and out, feel like giving up, feel like being depressed. It takes more energy to be depressed than it does to be happy and joyous. Remember, joy is an emotional stability that you carry no matter what's happening on the outside of you. Joy is not on the outside of you. Joy is on the inside of you. Happiness is on the outside of you because it depends on what happens. But joy and emotional stability, that you just stay rooted and grounded, that my God, make it personal, my God shall supply all of my need. At this present moment, what are you going to do with this? So you worrying about rent that's supposed to be due on the 1st. That hadn't even got here. You don't know what God is going to do by the time that comes. We are not looking at someday. That's not on the calendar. We're looking at today, which is on the calendar because we're expressing it. And so we must stay focused, mindful, and paying attention to what is happening today. God has already stepped into tomorrow, today, to prepare the way for you to get there. And he's not going to prepare the way that you don't have a deficit. He's always going to be a supplier that's greater than the demand. Woo! Somebody will just say, woo. It's a mind thing, y'all. Speaking of mind things, let me still encourage you to invest in me. Me is the mental equation. This is a conversation that God and I had. There are no chapters. There are no page numbers. You must study this. There's light in this. As you even begin to pick this up, the light is going to illuminate because I wrote this in light. And there is no darkness here. There are only tools to lighten your pathway. I don't want you to repeat it. I want you to revelate it. For the light has come, and you are that light. Amazon.com now. Don't wait till you get on the bestseller list and then you buy. Be there now, because it will be a bestseller. It is already a bestseller. when I wrote it, I saw it as a bestseller. So that's a multiple stream of income. I know you're looking at money, but I'm looking at the souls that are going to be transformed, the energy that's going to be transformed. Y'all, I got to get out of here. I am so much over the time. But when we begin to talk about the mind, one of our days we're going to talk about the mind's a terrible thing to waste. I know the United Negro College Fund came up with that mantra, but we're going to use it. So probably until now, for probably the next 30 days, we're going to visit parts of the mind. We are going to remember, not learn. I'm going to help you remember how important your mind is to you and how important your mind is to this journey. Well, this is Michelle. I'm your motivator, the spiritual evolutionist. Remember, you have been created by the Creator to be creative, so start creating your creations and stop duplicating. Yeah, operate. Master the mind as you mind the master, because you are a masterpiece. What? Yes. When you see yourself like that, your whole mind changes. Here we go, y'all, in the trance. Going across through and beyond on this terrific Tuesday, on this transformable Tuesday, on this take it to the top Tuesday. Well, may the love, joy, peace, power, and sound-mindedness be your soul food for today. Listen, I have to mention HAPS TV. It has provided this platform. Download the free app and begin to support this broadcast as I begin to move forward in the greatest version of myself. And I hope I'll be a part of your journey to give you the tools to master your mind as we mind the master and become the masterpiece. I like that. I think I'll post that today. Let me get out of here. Remember, me, Mental Equation, Amazon.com. I'll be here tomorrow. I will be here tomorrow to give you some more ammunition for your gun so that you can shoot down every enemy within your mind that will cause you not to know the greatest version of you. Be blessed. Please share.